Hello, everybody. My name is Laurie Smith. I am glad to be here. I have a very special guest with me. She's really one of my whole besties in the whole wide world, and but she's an amazing author and advocate, Donna Kshir. I am so glad that we're here with me, Donna, and we're going to be discussing her journey and Lee Cougardawn Roberts' journey as well. Donna and Lee have been advocates for many years and run AU4H. That's Advocates United for Humanity, and they have been on a journey to get the Pennsylvania Central Registry opened and active, and to protect children from abuse and possibly being murdered. It's just so important. And so we're going to talk about that today, as well as tying in the book that Donna wrote, Story of Survival, which was really a top-selling book. So Donna, I'm so glad that you're here for this informal chat. We'll just talk about what's on our heart and what this journey has meant for you and how hard it's been for you and Lee, to get the awareness out and to get this to get where you are today with this central registry. And maybe you could just tell us a little bit also about the A Story of Survival, which does really tie in with this situation here with the central registry.
First, it's great to be back, Laurie. It's been a minute since I have done an interview, so I'm a little bit nervous today, but I'm very excited to be back. Very excited.
Well, I'm glad to do this. Like, we always have such a great time, working together. Like, we've worked together for a long, long time. I mean, basically going back to 2009 for me, when I started working with you guys, to advocate, to protect children from abuse and to stop child abuse. So, but I love your work and I love what you've done through the years. You've made such an impact. I believe that your work has made a difference. You're a person who just works tirelessly. I mean, I know, you're an advocate, you're an author, you're a published author and a publisher, as well as you help so many people get accomplish so many things. But also, I mean, you're a wife and a mother and a grandmother. So your plate is full, 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 and you always manage to find time to do these things to make a difference. And so, I mean, you're one of the best friends I've ever had in my entire lifetime, and that's why I call you my bestie, as well as Lee. And but I love the work that you guys have done, that you've continued to do through Advocates United for Humanity, and you just make such a difference locally in your own local areas, as well as and Lee as well. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here with us today, but she's still very much active and around, and just
Yes.
busy today. So it's too bad she couldn't do this with us, but we'll get some future stuff going with her as well. But I'm so excited to do this interview with you because I want to find out. Okay, maybe you could talk a little bit about, um, because I know, because I watched the journey, but from the sidelines, and I've got to see a lot of the stuff that you've been doing, and I mean, your info is out there. The Road to the Registry website is out there, Weebly, the Road to the Registry. If anybody's looking for this information, I'm going to include all the links to everything that we're talking about here today. Will be, as soon as this interview is completed, I'm going to actually pop those links in there so you can have them and you can look at this information for yourself and you can actually get involved, right? So, we'll include those. But maybe just, Donna, just let us know how this all started.
Well, I worked with Mashana Brosses on Connor's Law, and shortly after Connor's Law was passed, Connor's killer, Ronald Sanders II, was released from prison. And he served 5.5 years for killing Connor. And in my opinion, that wasn't enough time. And the sad part about the whole thing was he only served 5.5 years for killing a little boy. And he tortured this little boy. It just wasn't, like an accident or something that got out of hand. He tortured this little boy and killed him. And sadly, once Connor's Law was passed and he was released, we learned that Ron had a very violent past. He had a violent past dating back to the military. And I just thought if people had the opportunity to see somebody's past, kind of like Megan's Law, when Megan's Law very first was coming out, nobody liked it. Everybody was against it because you were putting people's information out. But if these people aren't embarrassed about killing these children and abusing children, then why should we as a society be embarrassed of having a website that is a tool to help people protect their children? So it was shortly after Ron's release that I started petitioning lawmakers and just basically fighting every step of the way, tooth and nail, because as much as our lawmakers are elected in the office and they say they want to help us, at the end of the day, it's been a struggle. It's been 9 years.
9 years, that's a long time to put into this. And I know some of your personal struggles with this and your and Lee's, both of your struggles, because I sort of have been aware of the day to day, stuff that goes into this, which is meeting with these lawmakers, meeting with the government officials, and trying to get this central registry opened, trying to get them to back it to create this registry so that we can protect children. That's what it's all about. Um, and it's just incredible. 9 years you've given to this tirelessly, and I know because I've got to hear and actually produce and sort of be involved with it for a little while of putting that information out on the web, in the behind the scenes, working behind the scenes. So I got to listen to what you were going through at the time, and it's an incredible amount of work. Of the hours that you put in on this is unbelievable. It's the preparation, creating these appointments to get these lawmakers to even have a meeting with you. And then once you do set up a meeting, you've got to drive to where they are. So there you are driving, 3, 4, or 5 hours one way, 3, 4, or 5 hours back with no results. Time after time after time. And I mean, it's some of these people, I mean, I don't remember their names offhand, but some of them sort of sounded like they were interested, but, just wasn't the right timing for them. And I'm thinking to myself, when you told me that, and I'm just like, when is the right time? I mean, protecting children should be on everybody's mind all the time, right?
Yeah,
How can
most
you say,
definitely.
oh, wait till election year or wait till a better time, a better next year? You know how many children are going to die this year? I mean, we do, Donna, because we work to stop and prevent child abuse. So we know what the stats are. These people in office, they know as well. They're not blind to the whole issue.
No,
But if it
no,
doesn't
they're not.
suit their, yeah, if it doesn't suit what they're trying to accomplish, in their tenure or whatever, well, they're holding that government office, then they're not gonna bother themselves with it. So how many children have to die? How many people are going to not have that information at their fingertips when they are just thinking about moving in with someone that they met, and this relationship's building, but they don't really know the background of this person, and they've got small children. Well, how do you protect yourself? This Normally those predators and those monsters, I call them, who kill children or abuse children, um, they're not going to tell anyone that they've done this. So, they're not going to admit to the fact that they've
No.
done these horrible things. They move state to state, they move around, you know, hook up with another woman normally. That's the situation. And, with small children. And these children end up dying, you know. It's just needlessly, right? When, people would say, well, would that mother check that central registry? With education, yes. With education, yes. You get
Mhm.
enough education out there, you get enough information out to these young mothers and these people who recently divorced, and they should be aware that that they should have these tools to work with, because that's what it is. The central registry, it's a
It
tool
is.
to keep children safe, right? And so, to me, it's just I mean, talk about hitting wall after wall after wall. I mean, you and Lee have hit wall after wall after wall of people saying, well, it's great, but we love to protect children, but, right?
Yeah. It's
When are they going to,
disappointing.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. 9 years. 9 years. I want everybody here that's listening to this, whether you're watching it live or whether you're listening to the audio someplace, Spotify or wherever else it's going to play, to think about giving 9 years to something that is so, sits on your heart so much, that you give of your time and your energy and your resources and your money and your funds, because somebody's got to pay for that gas tank. Somebody's got to pay for that tank of gas, that takes to drive out to these places. Somebody's got to pay for this stuff. Guess who's paying for it? Donna and Lee, out of their own pockets. I
Uh-huh.
mean, this is something they want. They believe in this so much that they've given 9 years of their time. That'd be like raising a 9-year-old child. Just think about that.
Yeah.
Um, 9 years to this thing. And just to have doors, even if people seem somewhat interested, these lawmakers and these government officials seem somewhat interested, and to say, oh, it's a great idea, but, not right now, and slam the door in their face, you know, that's incredibly disappointing. Um,
Uh-huh.
but in the meantime, what you have done, I mean, you can also sort of think about it this way as well, is that you have, you and Lee have put this information out for people, and people do hear it, they do see it, and so it is an eye opener. So really, in doing this and trying to get this central registry in Pennsylvania opened, you've actually created this knowledge base for people that they really do need to be aware of, and protect their children.
Uh-huh.
Even if that central registry isn't open, it is a way to say, look, you need to protect your children. Um, so I love what you've done. I'm really sad that it hasn't been done 5 6 years ago. That somebody couldn't have just come alongside you and taken it and said, let's just do this. Because it's not, I can't imagine sitting in an office and having the ability to, with that kind of power and that kind of leverage, to be able to say, let's do this. So they're obviously running into, um, or they know that they will run into a brick wall
Yeah.
in their career, these lawmakers and
Uh-huh.
these people, these officials, whoever they are. And, otherwise they would say, well, yeah, let's do it because it would look really good for them. So what is it, somebody higher up that's just they know is not going to go for it? Um, this is really, to be honest with you, I think every state should have this. I think it should be
Yes.
a federal issue for all the states, and not just state by state deciding to do these things. Because yeah, like you said, like you said just a few minutes ago, that people think, oh, if this what these central registries do is ruin these people's lives, and that's not true,
No.
because it's not a slander situation. It's a place for people to go and literally search to see if this person has been found guilty. First of all, not somebody who's been just accused of abusing a child or murdering a child. We're talking these people have been found guilty and um, have been charged with and found guilty and done time, or you know been incarcerated or whatever for these issues. So these are not innocent people.
No.
These are not innocent people. These are people that have hurt and harmed or murdered a child or more than one child. So why does the public not have information about this? Like, to me, that's protecting. That's always this sort of the way it is, though, because we know, Donna, yourself and I, and Lee Roberts, and all of us who've been out here, advocating to stop and prevent child abuse. We know that the system protects the abusers, not the
Abuser.
victims, not the victims of the abuse. The system is always in place to protect the abuser or the murderer or whatever. How unfair is
Always.
that? You know? Yeah. So who pays the price? But just more victims,
Children.
more children are going to die. Yep, because they would rather protect that person's information from the public. I mean, it's not like you're displaying on a billboard and saying, "Hey, so and so killed and murdered a child." It's a central registry where anyone who's thinking about getting in a relationship with someone can go in, like a woman who's got some small children in the home still, or even teenagers, whatever, and wants to check and see if this person has that they're planning on moving in with and maybe marrying and getting involved with is has a criminal history of abusive behavior towards children, or has been found guilty of it, right? So this is why would this even be an issue? To me, in my mind, I don't see uh, why this would be such an issue. Who would want to shut it down, right? Within the government, like who would want to shut this down? It seems like
It's
they would want this. They would be.
yeah. It's weird because the people that you think are the ones that want to support it and give their support are the ones that are very cautious. They don't want to say or do the wrong thing because they don't want people judging them. And I don't think a lot of them totally
Mm,
understand what we're trying to do. I keep telling them we want to have a system kind of like Megan's Law, where people can get on and look up to see if somebody committed a violent crime against a child. Well, we keep hearing that, what about the abuser's rights? I come back with, what about the victim's rights? And this is what I can't make anybody understand
mm-hmm,
is if that person was not embarrassed at all when they were abusing this child or, torturing this child, then they should not be embarrassed that their name is on a registry. But here's the deal. In all honesty, these people are being protected on a central registry. It's private. No one's going to know what they did. They're out there willing and capable of hurting and abusing more children. And as long as we have this private registry and we protect them, more and more children are going to be abused and even die. When I first met with Stephanie Borowitz
mm-hmm,
a few years back, I went in, we had a conversation, and her and I, we get along great, but we didn't see eye to eye on opening the central registry. Let's make an appointment. Let's come back next year. Well, these kids don't have until next year because more kids are going to be abused and more
mm-hmm.
kids are going to die. It's just a tool in
Yeah.
the toolbox that if you're going to get involved in a relationship, somebody can look up to see if you've committed a violent crime against a child. What if you're going to hire someone to come in and work in your home? Do you want someone that has a history of abusing or killing children working in your home?
Mm-mm.
No. And these people are out there
No.
saying, we've been protested. I have been protested going into meetings. And these people tell me I'm trying to ruin their lives. No, I'm not. I'm trying to protect children. If you weren't embarrassed when you abused this child, then you shouldn't be embarrassed that your name is on a registry. You did that. I didn't. I'm not ruining your life. You freely chose to do what you did to that child. So how can you blame me?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, that's right. The passing the blame onto someone else instead of taking responsibility for it. And yeah,
Exactly.
they say, this is just it. It's that is so ridiculous. It's not even funny. But that's how people are. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
we don't want anybody to know. You know, oh, these people out here who commit these heinous crimes against children or against anyone, but we're talking about especially the protection of children right now. So the issue is nobody wants, they don't want people to know what they've done to children. And so
exactly.
they don't want that registry to happen because it gives them a
No.
bad name. And there are, sadly enough, I mean, abuse happens in every, it doesn't, like, there's no one ethnic, background or, situation where, you know, rich or poor. It's a situation where abuse affects children all across the board, whether, all nationalities, all races, rich or poor, educated parents or uneducated parents, young parents or older parents. I mean, abuse happens to children. I mean, we're within school systems. We already know this. I mean, the school systems, it's coaches, it's teachers, it's principals, it's janitors, anybody who, we're like, most people don't realize this, but it's really sad. But I like to remind people that where does abuse happen? of children. What
around
does abuse
children.
happen? Well, wherever the child is, right? So yeah. So I mean, well, I mean, the majority of abuse happens in the home because these children are at home, but it can happen anywhere: a daycare, babysitter, So I think the central registry is so important because for
Is.
if I was if I was a mother and I had young children and I was just recently divorced or whatever, to see if the person that I was interested in has, committed any crimes against children whatsoever. And I would want to have access to that information. I want to
Yeah.
protect my children. And I don't think people realize just how many child child abusers and child murderers there are out there. There's a lot.
Yes.
And there's a lot more than you think. There's a lot more than you know. Most abuse is not, yeah, I mean, most abuse doesn't make the paper. You see
No.
the headlines out there, that's only, what is it, maybe 1/8 or 10th of what's actually happening to children. I mean, there's thousands upon thousands of children being abused and some murdered every single year. So you think about it, there's abusers all over the place. You don't know
Hmm.
I wouldn't know who an abuser is just walking down the street. They look like everybody else, like your neighbor. They're not gonna, you know, they abusers quite often do want to hook up with young single women, especially abusers who are sexual abusers, because they will prey on a vulnerable woman who's got small children, and they'll
Hmm.
act like, "Oh, I'll take care of you," you know. Um, Single women with small children are very vulnerable, and so are those children. And
Yes.
who cares? Who cares? The government obviously doesn't care, because otherwise they'd be putting something like this. They'd be making it mandatory in all states, in all, not just one or two here and there who decide that it's a good idea. Because what's happening with the protection of children? We've been out here fighting for a long, long time, making a lot of noise as much as possible,
Hmm.
to change the way that people feel about children, and that child protection is very, very. It should be at the forefront. If you have children, you should protect your children, and a lot of abuse, almost all of it, could be stopped if people were doing that. But unfortunately, this people are so lackadaisical about it. Oh, it happened here. It's not going to happen in my home. It won't happen in my kid's school. It, you know,
Oh, it is
because
going
they
to
want to
happen.
believe that this world is safe and it's a safe place for it. Yeah, it's going to happen, and it does happen. So it's so this is so important, and I know you like a story of survival. Can you just tell us a little bit about that book? There is some great. I'm going to include the links where Donna was actually doing a reading of the first part of the story, a story of survival. Can you just let us know a little bit about that book?
Yep. I actually have a copy of the book with me today. The cover was designed by a friend of mine from Italy named Moondance. Um, we I first originally did the book back in 2011, and it was one of my favorite stories that I ever wrote. It's aimed towards teens, however, anyone can read the book. And we put it out, and it did incredible. And I said, I know that book can do so much better because it's vital. It's really a vital book to learning the ins and outs of the foster care system and how kids are abused, even though we hear they're not. They're definitely abused. So Moondance actually did several new illustrations for in the book, and they are absolutely incredible. She is an incredible artist. Um, I loved them, and it actually brought the book to life. It
It's
gave it a
awesome.
whole new meaning. It's absolutely incredible. It was just recently number 7 on Amazon on Kindle and 21 in paperback. So it's doing incredible.
That's awesome.
But it talks
That's
about
awesome.
child, thank you. It talks about child abuse in the foster care system. And if you really think about it, I'm talking about, you know, an open registry so that people can look it up. And here I am in this book, I'm talking about foster care and and child abuse. And I really think that the two go hand in hand because there needs to be reform
Mm-hmm.
in the foster care system as well. And it was really weird because I read the other
Yeah,
night that over
that's right.
800,000 children in the United States alone are in foster care each year. So that's a lot of children,
Yeah,
and 1 in 2 children will be
yeah.
abused in the foster care system. So the statistics are high. So when you think about it, the central registry goes hand in hand with the foster care system.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's amazing, and that the illustrations are just wonderful in that book. I've only seen the one on the front cover, but it's amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah, she did
What a beautiful
incredible.
artist, you know. Yeah,
The book is
but the
a
book
journal
itself, yeah.
of 13-year-old Stephen Moyer. Stephen's a fictional character, but his parents were killed in an automobile accident, and he was forced in the foster care system after nobody would take him. Well, he was one of those kids where he went into foster care and he was shuffled all around back and forth. He finally gets what he thinks is going to be his forever home, the Joneses, but when he got there, the Joneses weren't the people that he thought they were going to be. They slowly began abusing Stephen little by little, and then it went from pushes and shoves to kicks and then full blown beatings. And he documents his whole journal in the book, and we have been getting incredible reviews. Michael Skinner, he actually just said the book was potent, and he thought that it had a lot of potential to open the door, to child abuse. And I'm hoping between this book and working on the central registry, we can make a difference in the lives of these children. The worst part, Laurie, for me is we get
That's right.
these officials or these lawmakers, and I've sent proposals to state representatives, congressmen, senators, and you don't so much as get an email back, a phone call back, or you do travel 2.5 to 3.5 hours one way for, to sit down and have a discussion, and you get there and they cancel on you. And you just drove 3.5 hours
Mm-hmm.
for absolutely nothing. And to them, it's just like, whatever, it's a big joke. But to someone like me, that's 7 hours road time plus
Mm-hmm.
gas and wear and tear on my car and my time. And I think a lot of times they forget I also have a
Mm-hmm.
job, I have a life, and they just think like people, like they don't think like they owe the people an explanation for how they waste their time. And I think if you think your time's important, my time is just as important to me, and like my
Mm-hmm.
family. And you're blowing my time because you don't have enough dignity or respect to call me or send me an email. I had sent the proposal to Senator Doug Mastriano back in October, and someone in his team reached out to me and they wanted to review the whole proposal because we just send them like a tidbit of it. So I sent it out. I have to date not heard
Mm-hmm.
anything back from them. I reached out to Glenn Thompson, Congressman. I have not heard anything back from his team. I recently had a meeting with Senator Chris Dush, and he got a busy schedule in Harrisburg, so that meeting was postponed. Sorry, and like I'm sitting here and I'm waiting for these people to get back to me. All along, I'm thinking children are dying. And you being a person in office that are elected by the people, aren't you supposed to care about what we, the people, think are important? So when we send you a proposal about protecting children, shouldn't you have this much time to just message me back or call me back and say, this is what we're thinking. This is how we can help you or we can't help you. Why does it just have to be no communication whatsoever? Don't they owe us some kind of
Mm-hmm.
answer back?
Yes, they do. And I believe, it's their duty because they
Yeah.
are in office and they hold the authority and they hold the power to be able to do what's right and to do things that can benefit their communities and the
Hmm.
people that live within their jurisdictions. That why wouldn't they want this? You know, it's it's going to be beneficial to their whole community, and educate the people to actually use the central registry. Like once it's put in place and it's up and running, that it wouldn't be that costly to upkeep. You know, I think that's a
No,
part of the problem is they think that it's going
we
to be
discussed
so
that.
expensive to upkeep.
No, we have
Yeah,
already discussed
yeah,
that. And by
and it's
opening the central registry,
mm-hmm,
Pennsylvania State Police put the information within the system. So there's really no upkeep because they do put the information in, and it's only people who are convicted. It's not people who get a report or something like that. You
mm-hmm,
have to be convicted by a court of
that's right,
law to be on that registry.
right, right. So
So,
yeah, you have to be found guilty by a court of
yes,
law. Yeah. So
yes,
it's not just people who phoned in and said, "Oh, so and so is abusing their child," you know, and it turns out to be a not a false report, and that there's no
yep,
abuse going on. It's not that. It's someone who is
no,
found guilty,
guilty.
100% guilty, and by the court by a court of law, and either serve time or whatever the situation is, whatever the sentence was, and they would be entered in by the police department. So it would be no upkeep. It wouldn't cost
No,
any extra money besides the web space and whatever. It's
yeah,
nothing, you know.
it's
So
because
I
they
don't know why they
already,
aren't all championing it and going, hey, let's do it.
yeah, they already have it, so there's
Maybe
no
we should.
upgrading.
Yeah, you should run for government. You should run for office, Boo.
Thank you. I
You really
really
should.
think that they
I
owe
think a
us
lot
an
of things would
answer.
get done that need to be done. Right?
If I was in office, they
Yes,
would hate me
they
because
do.
I would be taking on the tough things and saying, enough's enough.
Hmm.
We shouldn't have to wait 9 years to get an answer for someone to support us. I shouldn't be having to call people up and following up. I shouldn't have to be sending emails 3 times a week. I think that they should owe you the right to at least call you back, send you an email, and let you know. And no disrespect. I know that they have their time they spend in Harrisburg, but you're not that busy in Harrisburg that you don't have 5 minutes to call me back and say, I'm sorry, this is something we can't do right now. Or I'm sorry, maybe we could look at this a different
Hmm.
light. They don't want to. If it's not on their agenda, they don't want to. But they make all these other
Yeah.
laws. They have time to do all this other stuff, but they have no time to protect children. And in my opinion, these people have been convicted of killing children. They have been convicted of abusing children and neglecting children. Why are we protecting them on a private registry? Why can't we call them out for who they are so that if someone gets in a relationship with them,
Hmm.
or you invite someone into your home to be a babysitter, or you as a grandmother have a yard person, we have someone that comes and does the yard. um, if that person comes, do you
Hmm.
really want an abuser around your children? And here they are walking around free as a bird, nothing's bothering them. And
Oh yeah.
here they are, they've been an abuser, they have been a killer, they have neglected children.
Hmm.
The only way for us to protect our children is for that central registry to be open. It would be just like Megan's Law. You get
Hmm.
on, you look up someone's name, their picture's there, the location, and it just lets you know that this person has been convicted and have the charges that they were convicted for. They keep saying about it could be an invasion of privacy. Well, I
Hmm.
think that they invaded other people's privacy when they abused, killed, and neglected their children. But we don't agree on that.
Yeah. Well, this is
You
just
know,
it, and it just always turns out that there are more rights for the abusers
yes.
than there are for the victims of from their victims. Yes.
That's sad when you think
Where's the
about it.
justice in that? Where's the justice?
There,
Like,
there, there is no justice. I have
yeah.
been
I mean,
reviewing a lot of
it's
different
horrendous.
cases, and I always look back at Connor's case. When Connor was killed, Ron had a violent
Hmm.
past, but nobody knew about it. Ron no more got out of jail after serving 5.5 years for killing Connor, and within a month, he had a new girlfriend, April Brandt. She had no clue that he had a violent
Hmm.
past. She had no clue that he had killed Connor. And she's involved in a relationship with him. Within a month, he burnt her daughter. So there was another child victimized because we protected Ron on this central registry, a private registry. Why does it have to be
Right.
private? Why can't we make it open?
Yeah.
Why can't we protect the children? Why are we protecting abusers and killers? Why aren't we protecting our
Hmm.
children? And that's what upsets me.
That's right. Yeah, that's the hard questions that nobody wants to answer, and
No,
that's the question. Why? And after 9 years of
9 years.
your uh, willingness to give to this thing, to to be totally proactive, and keep pushing, you know, and for what? To have them say, "Oh, not this year." How many children? How many more children need to die or need to be abused by these abusive, horrendous monsters? I call them in our society. Where's the protection for these children? You know,
There is none.
like really, we need more education. I've been fighting for that for a long time. To society because children are dying,
Hmm.
and even if they don't die, they're gonna they suffer their their lifetimes. Many of them never really ever fully heal from the abuse, and so it's really you know, it's up to us. And that's why we keep saying, use your voice. You know, we all need to be involved. We all need to be a voice. And I mean, you've put 9 years in on this, and talk about discouraging. Um, but I want you. It's not I kind of like to look on the bright side of things. It's not all for nothing. I mean, just by you
No,
being out here and
no.
doing this, and you being so vocal about it, and putting out the audios, putting out
Mhm.
the with your column, the daily with Donna. You're documenting the journey. There's the Road to the Registry books that were put out by a certain L.A. Smith. So, you know, I mean, you have really documented the whole thing, and um, so people are hearing this, and people do hopefully, hopefully, someone who does have small children around their in their home will listen, will really listen to what Donna is saying and what Lee Cougardawn Roberts is saying. That this is so important. You need to be aware of who's around your children, and you need to
Yeah.
take this very, very seriously because abuse happens where your children are. So what you watch who's around your children. And so, your voice is out here because, I mean, when we used to advocate together, we have off and on through the years, but you guys are still going strong. And there are many, many people following your work. And I mean, yeah, we need to be committed, even, no matter what we're doing, to protect children. And I hope that more people will get on board. I hope that more people will, you know, support your work. I hope that what people will do with this audio, with the video, wherever you see this or hear this, is share it around, because people are so embarrassed. Our society is so embarrassed to. I think that might be part of these lawmakers' issues as well. People are so
Hmm.
embarrassed to be associated with the word abuse. Abuse is so. It's such a. Our society has shamed it so that under the carpet. That's why children continue to be abused because nobody wants to talk about it. That's why I spent, from 2009. I mean, and Donna. I mean, Donna and Lee and myself go way back 2009. They're even before me. But the thing is that's why we started making as much noise as possible because nobody wants to talk about this stuff, and it's
No.
so important that we do. You know what I mean? Um, we really need more voices. We need everyone's voice in on this. Children are dying. You know, children. I mean, the other people say, "Well, we'll never stop child abuse," and you're probably correct about that. We won't stop all of it, but we could stop a lot of it. Why not? Is it not
Yeah,
worth stopping a lot of it
it is.
instead
It
of
is.
drop the shame garbage? Drop the shame garbage. Yeah, it's a taboo topic to talk about, and it still is within our society. But if
Yes.
we don't raise our voices, it's going to get shoved back under the carpet, and then it'll be silenced. And I said, silent no more. I'm speaking out. As a survivor, it's my right to speak out. And you know, I'm just thanking God for people like Donna and people like Lee and everybody out here, all of the advocates out here, no matter who they are, who are speaking out to, to make noise, to say, you know what, this is wrong. We need
Hmm.
to stand up. We need all of our voices in on this. So yeah, do what you can in your own area. Get involved with your local child abuse prevention advocates. Get involved with your state, um, you know, state agencies who work to promote, and child safety, child protection. Get involved federally. Get involved somehow. Support Donna and Lee's work at AU4H, Advocates United for Humanity, and check the links below because I'm going to have all the links there. You can click on all of them and check out all the work that's been done on this, and support the work. I think it's an amazing load of work. So you can pat yourself on the back for being so diligent. It's almost 10 years now that you started, that you and Lee had began this journey, the road to the registry. And 10 years is a long time.
A very
It
long
really
time.
is. So
We're not
it
going to give
is. So
up.
you
We're
can
going to keep
pat
trying.
yourself on the back for being so diligent.
We're not going to give up. We're going to keep trying. We are
Yeah.
actually going to start reaching out down in Florida, in Lee's area. If Pennsylvania don't want to come through it for us and lead the way, then we're going to
Hmm.
go elsewhere and get it passed. It's too important to left ungo.
Yeah.
Too
Right
many
on.
children need to be protected. And I've had a lot of people thank us for the work we've
That's
done.
right.
And we've seen so much support. We've also seen the haters. I mean, I've had people send me terrible messages,
Hmm.
send me threats. When we've been traveling, we've had people like try to tear down our tents for our events and that kind of thing. And it's just crazy that people hate you because you want to stand up and fight for the rights of children, but it also makes you think, what kind of person are they?
Hmm.
And that says a lot about it. But
That's right.
what I don't understand is how our own government does not want to protect children, and they keep saying maybe next year. Let's revisit this in a year.
Hmm.
I'm running out of years. I need to get it done and get it done now so that we can protect
Right.
kids. And Laurie, you have
Right.
known me for how many years? And I've known Lee for 20 years. And I have never shared my grandchildren's names, their faces,
Hmm.
or anything because I don't want anyone coming back on them for the work that I do. So I've always been mum's the word. Isn't that sad that
Hmm.
I can't be like other people and put my grandchildren on social media and be like, I'm a proud gram? No, I have to protect my kids because I say things that make people very upset when it comes to protecting children. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
Our
That's right.
laws should protect children,
It
and
shouldn't.
that's sad and pathetic as a
Yeah.
country that we can't put our children first.
That's right. That's exactly right. And it's sad. What's sad and pathetic about it is that this country, I'm in Canada, but I'm from the States. I was born and raised
Mhm.
in the States. That North America would sit here being the champion of freedom, the champion of freedom, the champion of let's take care of our citizens, let's take care of our people. Well, who's not getting taken care of here? You
Our
know,
children.
talk about letting the ball slip. The children who are the future of these countries. You know, where I don't know if it's just greed or if it's just a nonchalant attitude that people just don't care that children are dying from abuse. It's sad. Sadly enough, children, I mean, die all the time from horrible diseases and things that they just haven't found a cure for, unfortunately. Childhood cancers and things like this. Terrible things that just break parents' hearts. And because they love their children, they don't, they're just broken because their children are passed away from some horrible disease. That's bad enough. And then we're losing children in accidents, which accidents do happen, terrible things that happen to children. But we're talking about people who take their lives. We're talking about people who abuse these children. They don't want
Hmm.
these children. All they want them for is so they can abuse them. Now, where you can tell when a society has gone downhill when they don't stand up and protect the vulnerable of their population. Children are vulnerable. they need our voices because they cannot stand up and protect themselves. And so they need all of us to get involved. And we keep saying this, we're like a broken record. But I don't care. I'm just going to keep saying it. I don't care. I'm not out here for popularity. I'm out here to stop and prevent child abuse and save children's lives. That's what I'm out here for.
Mhm.
And so I don't care if you like me or not. It makes no difference. I'm going to keep
Yeah.
saying it. And I don't care who likes it or not. We all need to get involved in this. And we, like you said, Donna, we don't, how many years do we have? I mean, we're getting up there, me and you. I don't think we look all that bad for our age, to be honest with you. But the thing is, how many years do we have? Seriously, I mean, we're all getting up here. Where's the young people? We really need you. If you are young and
Yeah.
you are, interested in the rights of the child and the protection of children, and then get involved, use your voice. It's not a shameful thing, you know. Like I'm a survivor of abuse, sitting out here talking all the time because I'm not ashamed of myself, because that what happened to me wasn't my fault. You know what I mean?
No.
So I don't have to carry that shame. But the issue is I'm not ashamed to say these words because children are dying and children are going to be abused and their lives are going to be a mess. And we need to stop this, right? We need to more education, more tools like the central registry, like seriously on a federal level, nationwide,
Yes.
like state by state. Help people like Donna. Yeah, help people like Donna and Lee. Get involved, right? You want to support their work, then contact Donna and Lee through. You can. I'll put the links here, but Advocates United for Humanity. That's one place you can contact them at, and get involved, right? Do what you can, because children are dying.
Laurie,
We don't have how many here.
I
We say okay.
I've invited people multiple times, call your state and local representative, call your congressman, call your senators, let them know that you support it. People are afraid
Mm-hmm.
because they're afraid of what will happen to them for being a voice and speaking out. If
Right.
you have listened to the Daily with Donna and
Mm-hmm.
followed the journey to the road to the registry, we started that probably, I'm going to say 2 to 3 years ago, something to that effect, because people wanted to know what was going on and we couldn't do enough updates on the website. So we started the podcast.
Right.
But people are afraid, and people's afraid to speak out because they're afraid what will happen to them behind closed doors. So I,
Mm-hmm.
I just, I can't believe that there's so many people that's afraid, and we have people in office that within an instant could make a difference in these children's lives, these people's lives, and be like, this is what we're going to do. It is so
Mm-hmm.
complicated and so hard to get a bill passed that there's no words. Like, I have testified before
Yeah.
lawmakers, I have done everything asked of me to do,
Mm-hmm.
and here we are 9 years, almost 10 years later, still fighting the same fight. I keep saying I'm not going to give
Yeah.
up, I'm going to see this through. I can't keep saying I'm 29 for much longer because my face is starting to show I'm not 29. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
we
That
have
old trick's not going to work for too much longer.
That's right. But we have to get people in office that want to do for the people, that want to work for the people, want to
Hmm.
support people, and most of all, want to support our children. The people that we are electing into office
Yep.
aren't doing it. They're not cutting it. And if I have to keep
Right.
reaching out to you, you can't return a phone call, or you can't get a board protecting children, that says a lot about you and who we have in office. So we, as
Hmm.
people who vote, we have to look at it differently, and we have to see who's going to do the best for our children, who's going to do the best for us. Because right now, the people that I've reached out to and have been driving insane for the last 9 years, they're not making the cut. They don't care about me, they don't care about you, and they don't care about our children. We need people in there that care about
Yeah.
our children. I don't know what more we can
That's
do,
right.
how many phone calls, how many emails, how many times you can reach out to them, how many appointments you can make, how many radio shows that we have done or television appearances we have done to try to get the word out there. And all I do is I keep talking because I'm hoping someday someone who isn't afraid will step up and show me
Hmm.
support. I will give Stephanie Borowitz credit. She was the
That's right.
first one in Pennsylvania to show her support. Um, she's the one that said that we should meet with
Mm-hmm.
Senator Chris
That's
Dush,
awesome.
but again, our appointment got canceled due to his scheduling, and we haven't been able to reconnect because either he's super busy or we're super busy on the road. I think what we're going to do though is we're going to cancel our next few appointments. I'm going to get with Dush, see what we can do on this end, but we're going to move this to Florida. I have a better chance of passing it in Florida or another state than I do in Pennsylvania. And I just can't believe that Pennsylvania don't want to be a leader and they don't want to lead the
Mm-hmm.
way. That shocks me. But I mean, we got to do what we got to do to protect
Yeah,
kids. And if Pennsylvania is not the key and it's not the ticket, I'm willing to do what it takes.
that's right. That's right. Yeah. I just commend you. I commend you for your heart for your heart to see this through for so many
Thank
years
you.
with so much rejection and having the door slammed in your face. I mean, most people would have walked away after 6 months of that. Um, the diligence and the work, I can't imagine how many emails and how many phone calls and how I know some about the drives and the different like places that you've
Mhm.
had to go, but I don't know the whole the whole side of it of the work involved. And I can't imagine like I really appreciate your I want to call it stick to itness. You know what I mean? You stick to it. Like, you're like a dog with a bone. You're like, I am not giving up on this. I give you credit for that because most people would have just walked away. This is like so important. And that's why I love what you and Lee are doing. I've always appreciated everything you guys do because I know you're still working hard, and for animals. You stand up for all for anything that really is going to make the world a better place, and I really appreciate that because I mean originally that's what we were doing, and you guys are still going strong, and I just think it's great. Yeah,
Thank you.
it's awesome.
That means a
So I know you're
lot.
not giving up. And your
No,
writing, I love your writing is wonderful, and I
this
think
is
you have a
my
lot more to say.
favorite book. It's just my absolute favorite book. I love
Yeah.
this book. Like I said, we originally did it back in 2010, and I kept saying it needed more. It needed more. And back then we had no illustrations. But then when we redid it just last November, Moondance provided the illustrations, and they're absolutely incredible. I couldn't be more
Mm.
pleased. I absolutely love the cover. She did an incredible job.
That's that is amazing. Amazing. Yeah, she's a beautiful artist. Um, and with that book, we're going to include the link on where they can purchase a copy. If you're in get available, just look for the link below, and it'll take you to the site where you can purchase a copy.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I think it's really wonderful. Yeah, I think I love what you're doing, and I love like you have so much going on. I mean, this particular interview here, we're just talking about Central Registry and the story of survival. But I mean, we could talk about so many things. But
Yeah.
this is just this piece of it, and it's just amazing. Like I think you're a beautiful person. I think you're a wonderful friend. You're the best friend you and Lee together are the best friends I've ever had. I've had
Oh,
some
thank
wonderful
you.
friends, but I've never had friends that, keep just uh, keep tolerating me. So I really appreciate it. You know what I mean? You just keep loving me, and I really appreciate that. And I just, you let me work with you on stuff, and I learned so much from you, and I learned so much from Lee, and you guys were part of my healing journey, and I really appreciate it. So I can't thank you enough from one survivor to another. Like there's survivors out here who I'm sure who have read my books and don't realize that you are my publisher. And so Donna is my publisher,
Hmm.
and she helped me get my books published a long time ago. So we go way back. Your work, I love your heart, and I love the fact that you care so much about children. Like you're a wonderful mother, you're a wonderful wife. I'm sure that Roger would agree, and I know that you care so much about your children and your grandchildren. And I know this because I know your heart. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so these children out here around, I mean, just in your own home state of Pennsylvania, I mean, I know that you have a heart for them and you care about them and you want their lives to be protected. Not only that, but
Yes.
nationwide. Children around the world. I mean, we're talking, children everywhere. So I know you have a heart for children and you very much do care about them and you've been a voice for them for a very long time. And I don't think that voice is ever really going to go away. No matter what happens in the future and what you decide to do and down the road and what happens, I think you'll always be a voice for the children. Yeah.
Yeah. I keep saying I'm talking of retirement, but the more I talk about it, the more I think someone needs to be a voice. We need this. We need to, create public awareness. We need to get the word out, But I do wish we could get some younger people on board, get them to
Hmm.
become voices, because us old girls, we're getting tired.
Yeah, that's a
Tired.
fact, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, the years are rolling by, and we really have. I mean, we basically are just passing the torch on to the next group. Going, here you go. Here's the torch. Carry it on. Take it farther. Take it much farther than we ever could or ever did. And
Yeah.
that's what
I've
I'm
been
hoping that will
advocating.
happen.
Yeah. I've been
That's what I'm
advocating a
hoping.
very long time.
Yeah.
I started when my son went to school. I kind of went back to school with him, and I became a teacher's aide, and then I went to college. But I began like standing up for kids, protecting children, and then I got on a much bigger format, and it blew up from there. And it just seems like every year, we just keep doing more and more. We try to provide
Yeah.
Christmas to children that don't have. We try to do Easter for children that don't have. We do a back to school program. We try to do everything in our power for children. And I guess, I always say I relate well to children because I'm a big kid at heart. Like I love toys, I love collectibles. So I think that's why I
Yeah.
relate so well to kids. But I don't know. I look at kids and I see them and they're so innocent and they're so vulnerable. And I can't
Hmm.
imagine someone hurting my own child. So I just feel like we need to protect the kids, not your kids, not my kids, yours, mine, and ours, because they are our children, all of our children.
Hmm. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah, we need the next generation, and then the next generation and the next generation
Yeah.
of young people to take this and run with it, right? So if you
Yeah.
share our stuff, even if you just share it for that very reason, please do it because there's
Hmm.
only so many advocates out here speaking about this stuff. And we're all getting older because it's all the same generation and we're all moving along through the years and we're getting older and our voice is, eventually going to be gone. We need you to keep this stuff out here. You need to get your voice going in your local communities wherever you are. Get busy, get involved, you know, because it's so important. These children, who's going to do it if we don't do it?
No
If
one,
you don't fight for the central registry, who's going to do it,
no
right?
one.
If you don't write those books, The Story of Survival, who's going to do it? That's what I'm saying. Like, you all have a voice out here. So you people whoever is happening to tune in, your voice matters. It counts, and it's very important. Don't let
Yes.
this stuff get shoved back under the carpet and shoved behind, closed behind closed doors and window shades pulled down again. You know what I mean? Don't let that happen. These children need us. They need our voices. They need our help. They need the laws changed. We need stiffer penalties
Yes.
against
Yes.
abusers and people who kill and murder children. We need we need stronger sentencing, stiffer penalties. We need more people to care about children.
Hmm.
We need more people to protect children. Who's going to do it if we don't? So that's why I'm saying everybody needs to get involved and use your don't yeah, don't think that there's anything shameful about this stuff because there's not. People will always fight against it, but who's fighting
Hmm.
against it? It seems to me only the abusers and people who support them. So yeah, no, use your voice, man. These children, no child should ever be abused, and
No,
get this
no.
central registry open, Pennsylvania Central Registry, allow it to be public, and get the information out and educate young mothers and single mothers to use the central registry when they're thinking about hooking up with somebody, or like Donna was saying, you have somebody who come and cleans your house. Let's say there's a guy who comes around does handiwork around your house.
Hmm.
You don't know who this person is. You could check the
No.
registry. Somebody comes and happens to he you know he happens to want he's a coach in your neighborhood and he wants to coach your children. Well, who is this guy? you know like you could, or let's say it could even be a woman, because women do abuse. So I mean, it
Yes.
could be anybody. It's not just a man, it could be a woman too, right? So it could be anybody who's abused and hurt and harmed a child and was found guilty, right? Not just accusations, not silliness. We're talking people who are actually found guilty of these things. So we need everybody to get in on this, absolutely.
Yeah.
So do what you can. Check the link below, and you can contact Donna. You can contact Lee Cougardawn Roberts. You can contact myself. You can contact A for send us an email. You could check the links out, share this information all over the place. Like, please do. We need you to do this. We need you to share it. We need you to put this out here. We do what we can, but we need you to run with it as well, right? And if you haven't read Donna's books, you really should.
Thank
That's
you.
all I'm saying. Donna's really quite a prolific writer, and she writes all sorts of stories. She writes nonfiction, she writes fiction, she writes children's books, she writes all sorts of things. And follow her work because she's an absolute amazing author. And Lee Cougardawn Roberts is as well. And we've done some collaborations together, and we're still working on some more collaborations.
Yeah.
So be sure and check it out, right? We're doing this because we love to do it and we love to share with people. So, we appreciate anybody who's watching this or on the video or listening to this somewhere on a player, you know, just know that we do appreciate the support. We have gotten a lot of support from people through the years,
Uh-huh.
and I mean, I know I have. I know that AU4Age did. So I know that people do support our work, and we really appreciate it. All of you who've paid attention and who've ran with our stuff and shared it, we really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Do you have any final closing thoughts there, Donna?
I just want to thank you for having me on today as a guest. And I also want to thank everyone who has supported us over the years. It's hard because we try to be so grateful and so thankful for everyone. And sometimes we always miss someone in the mix. So I just want to again say thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad that we could do this together, and I look forward to more interviews in the future. I look forward to success about getting the Central Registry open to the public, and I'm looking forward to doing more interviews with you very soon. And
Thank
thanks
you.
everybody for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Be sure and share this around. Check the links out below. Thanks a lot. Like and share. God bless
Thank
everybody.
you.